Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. So, we had the Raw versus Smackdown Survivor Series, and now that's over. You've seen it on Raw. We're not going to continue on with that. They're mentioning it briefly in the promos, but then by the next week, watch, it's going to be all of that. Was what was so stupid and retarded about that pay per view. I could see on paper, it might sound good having Raw versus SmackDown go against one another. But then when you actually say it out loud, you realize how retarded it is because a lot of those wrestlers that you saw, you know, um, they've already been on those shows, and they like Dean Ambrose, for example, and Alexa Bliss. Like Alexa Bliss even said she'd already won the SmackDown Women's title before she came to Raw. So it's not even like these wrestlers have been there their whole life on Raw or SmackDown. The brand extension started, about a year and a half ago only. And this is why it's so stupid, really, when you think about it, because they're going to have that pay per view, and now they can't really interact with one another. They're not really allowed to have any fallout. The only type of aftermath is kind of like what you see in the first segment. Shane McMahon is about to fire Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Um, Daniel Bryan stops them, and he instead says, put them in a match against New Day with the whole locker room surrounding the ring. The only thing I could say here is that Sami Zayn was decent on the mic, at least. He was funny. He kept going yup every single time. Um, Kevin Owens was making a point to Shane McMahon, and then when he did one yup, he like did a nerdy kick in the air to accentuate the point. See, little touches like that. Yeah, I'm saying, Sami Zayn, the guy's out of shape. He looks like an average generic schmuck, but at least he can cut a decent promo. It's in him. He could cut a way better promo than fuckboy Balor. He don't have to look at a script on the floor. He doesn't have to cut the same promo he's been cutting for 15 years like Samoa Joe. So at least he's got that going for him. At least you could say that. Shelton Benjamin defeated one of the Uso brothers. We're back to this again. I don't get it. It's the same thing with the Shield and Sheamus and Cesaro. They have they have like the one-on-one matches. They have the tag match. Then they go back to having the one-on-one matches. It is monotonous as fuck. I mean, how many times can you watch the same match over and over before you go fucking crazy? I mean, what aren't they even bored just continuously booking the same schlock over and over again? Shelton Benjamin gets the win here. Um, Backstage, we have Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan approaching Naomi, who's getting her makeup done. And what does this look like? I mean, kind of strange. Haven't I seen this before? I could have sworn that I saw this once before. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw it on Raw. And it's even quite hilarious because Ruby Riott is a goth character, just like Paige, just a lot uglier. With a really weird looking face. I guess you could say she stands out. You could say that about her. Liv Morgan is like the blonde, which was also, I forget what her name was. That was also on Raw with Paige. And then you have the other lesbian-looking chick, which is Sarah Logan, which is like the Cruella DeVille girl, the DeVille girl, whatever the fuck her name was. And I couldn't help but notice that this is the same exact thing that was on Raw, just different wrestlers, but the same booking. They beat up Naomi. Becky Lynch comes in to help her. They beat her up too. That was basically like what they did to Alexa Bliss on Raw. And I'm gonna get to it later on. I can't believe it. And you know who actually said this? Wade Keller of all people. He said, "What did they copy and paste the script from Raw onto the SmackDown one? Come on, Road Dogg. Can't you do any better than that? I mean, seriously." You booked the same exact shit on this show that was on Raw. I mean, could you be any less creative? I mean, could you really make it any more obvious? Most people who watch SmackDown are going to watch Raw. There's very few people who just watch one or the other out of most fans. I think most people watch Raw, so if they watch SmackDown, they're going to obviously notice that there's a bit of a similarity there. That is beyond lazy. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw that. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's the same exact thing being done two nights in a row. It's not even like it happened a month later or even several weeks, not even a week later. It happened the very next night. Shane McMahon leaves Daniel Bryan. I guess, he's getting bored of the show as well. The show is uneventful and boring when actually the scripted characters on the show are leaving the building early. I can't blame you, Shane, but then again, this is your dad's product, and this is what he thinks passes as entertainment. The Bludgeon Brothers defeated the Hype Bros. I like their look. They have this cool executioner style. I like the theme music, the lighting during the entrance. There's one thing that you can't knock WWE for. They know how to make a grand entrance. Even retarded entrances like Bayley are at least well done for what they're trying to accomplish. Bayley wants to be a retard, so they give her an entrance befitting of a retard. You know what I'm saying? So, even you could even say that fuckboy Balor when he's the demon, it's a good entrance. Even if these wrestlers are shitty and boring, at least they have a good entrance going for them. And I'm not really too sure why the hell, back in the day during the Attitude Era and even certain portions of the Ruthless Aggression Era, you never had wrestlers like going into a squash match for their debut because it would be pointless. You know who's going to win. For example, John Cena when he debuted, that wasn't even the Attitude Era. That was the Ruthless Aggression Era. John Cena almost beats Kurt Angle in his debut. So it's like and you thought that he was going to win that match, and that was the guy's first match. No squash match for John Cena. He didn't wrestle Hulky Benedoiki or whoever the hell to introduce him first, or he didn't wrestle Barry Horowitz or the Brooklyn Brawler. No. So what is the point? I mean, I know we've got Zack Ryder here, a former, intercontinental champ, whatever. But you still know who's gonna win. These guys have been losing for months. They've been losing all year. So obviously Rowan and Harper are gonna beat them. So what is the point? Wouldn't it have been better if they interfered in the Shelton Benjamin Uso match, because then they could say that they're gonna take the tag titles by storm, and they're going to push Shelton Benjamin and Gable to the side. That would have been impactful. That would have been a statement. Better than just, what is their thing about, matches? They think somebody winning a match is going to get them over. That's not how you get people over. That's not how Stone Cold got over. That's not how anything works. I don't know why they think the match is the key to getting people over. But nobody gets over, so it's never like it clicks in them that, well, maybe just having a decent match with somebody or having them win a match that's not the key to somebody being elevated to the next level. Somehow, Road Dogg and McMahon, I don't get these guys have been there. They saw what it takes to get over. Road Dogg saw it. It's not like Road Dogg was this amazing wrestler. He was good. He was decent in the ring. But Road Dogg was not over most of his career when he was the roadie. It was only until he started doing the New Age Outlaws, when he started getting on the mic and showing what he could do there. That's when he started to get over. It wasn't because he won a match or he beat the Legion of Doom. So that's not exactly what gets anybody over. So I don't know why they still go with that same type of mentality. But until they break that mentality, no one's gonna get over. It's just gonna keep going like that. AJ Styles was cutting a promo in the ring. Jinder Mahal interrupts. He says that he's going to invoke his title match at Clash of Champions. He's going to do it on his time. He sends out the Singh brothers. AJ beats them up. I was a bit disappointed about that. Like Jinder Mahal gets in AJ's face last week, saying he's going to take his title back. He's brave. He gets in his face backstage, and then he does the cowardly thing of just appearing on the Titan. I never get this. It's the same thing with Bray Wyatt. It's not a good look. Just appearing on the Titantron, at total random. What's the problem with coming into the ring? It's not like he doesn't have backup anyway. Not that it wasn't a good promo or a decent one, but I was expecting more out of this. Like I'm saying, very uneventful. You want to do the whole Raw versus SmackDown Under Siege, and then follow it up with this. I mean, Charlotte and Natalia's match gets interrupted by Ruby Riott. And this is what's hilarious. So what they did was they did it in reverse. On Raw, Paige and her girls, first they interrupted the match. Then they beat up Alexa Bliss backstage. But on SmackDown, see, it's different. And first they do the backstage attack, and then they go and interrupt the match. See, so you can't say it's the same thing there. I mean, how ridiculous. I'm saying, how lazy is Road Dogg? He wrote the same thing into the show, and I don't know if he's, solely responsible or whatever, but give me a break here. Could he have not at least come up with something a bit more creative? It was the same thing. In-ring attack, backstage assault, and then just flip it. And there you go. There's your SmackDown show. Their same debut. So now you could say that four wrestlers, two being on two different shows, made their debuts in the exact same fashion. Just flipped. Then in the main event, it was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating New Day in the Lumberjack match. Kevin Owens, being the chicken shit heel once again, runs through the crowd. Sami Zayn gets beat down after the match. Then backstage, Owens gets on his hands and knees and begs Daniel Bryan not to fire him. And once again, I need to ask this question. Why is he so scared that he is going to get fired if Stephanie and him and Zayn were discussing them going to Raw? Shouldn't Kevin Owens say, screw you, I'm just going to Raw? Instead, he's running through the crowd like a coward, getting down on his hands and knees. Are we supposed to seriously take this? Are we supposed to take him seriously? This is a guy who won the world title. Triple H, this is Triple H's boy. He's hugging him backstage, putting him over on his special on the network. I mean, and now they got him on his hands and knees begging Daniel Bryan. How are they writing this show? I mean, how could anybody like any of these characters? Kevin Owens, not only is he cowardly, but he's pathetic. Getting down on his hands and knees. I mean, he's supposed to be a tough guy, right? He's the prized fighter. He's the prized bitch is what he is right here. I mean, how could anybody want to buy this guy's T-shirt, get behind him, cheer for him, whatever? I mean, they're making him sad and pathetic, and they want to make him a main eventer. I could see they're very confused, what to do with Kevin Owens. I mean, this guy is very fat. He's talented. He's good on the mic. Sami Zayn's got potential. I've already said that at the beginning of the review. But they don't know what to do with him. You could clearly see that. They had him beat Cena, when he first came to the main roster. Then they give him the world, then they kind of pull back on this push. Then they give him the world title. Then they kind of don't know what to do with him once again. They figure, let's put him in a high profile match against Shane. He beats up Vince McMahon, which was a very good segment. But somehow the momentum, I mean, where is that Kevin Owens? Shouldn't Owens be ruthless? Every week he should be coming out there power bombing the shit out of people. He should be going on a rampage. And just think, if they actually got this guy on a diet and put him in the gym and didn't let him eat 30 Whoppers per night, then maybe, Kevin Owens could start being elevated to something more and people could take him seriously. And maybe he could be a draw. Hey, you never know. You never know what could come when you put more effort into a certain talent. So there you go, guys. SmackDown, uneventful. Oh, Daniel Bryan said he's going to put him in a match against Randy Orton. At the beginning of the night, they said Randy Orton, had to get the night off, because he was scared, that he was going to do something he regretted. How lazy. What is the deal? What is Randy Orton doing? I don't get it. Is he filming a movie or something? Why is it that he's there certain weeks and he's not there other weeks? Like, I don't know. Randy Orton's schedule, it's been bizarre, and it's not just this year. He's had a very bizarre schedule since about 2015. I don't know what it is. I guess he's like not a part-timer, but I don't know. He's there for like a week, then he goes away for several more weeks, and they haven't even done anything high profile with Orton. I haven't even heard Orton really talk on the mic at all for like months, which is, I don't know. I mean, for being one of their big stars, I don't know, guys. Anyway, there's your SmackDown review. This has been your YWC champ, signing out.